What a performance there by J. King.
J. King, full plot armor.
J. King is pushing himself into the ranks of the legend.
J. King is our world champion! J. King 7! What? The back-to-back KARDS world champion!
Hello, guys, and welcome back to part 3 of episode 1 of Deep Cuts. So, if you're watching this, you've probably watched the previous 2 parts. If you haven't, I would recommend going back and watching them. This is part quiz show, part podcast, and I'm being joined by fellow KARDS content creators Bear Gardener in the top of the screen and Core Data in the bottom of the screen. And they will be competing against each other and working with each other to answer my absolutely torturous, devilish questions here. Especially considering we have reached part 3, which is Deep Cuts. If you get it right, or even partially right, or even in the correct horizon, I will probably be giving you points in this section. And if you get it right, you're getting 3 points. So that could be pretty good, considering the score is currently 3-3. So things are looking up. Now, how do you guys feel going into this?
Can't be any worse than the last one.
Yeah, it's how do we feel going into this? One, I will point out for those of you watching this back who are wondering, just how scuzzy are these humans? Like, these 3 videos and they're wearing the same clothes. That's because we actually recorded this in one run.
Yeah.
So, we sat down and just kept going. I'm looking forward to it, because at this point I'm halfway tired, halfway just my brain is full of cards, and halfway hoping that I might just pull out a miracle and get if I can get a point out of this entire round, I'll call it a win.
I would be so happy.
Judging by the previous questions.
If you guys get anything right here, I will be so happy. I think there are some which are achievable. Not necessarily because you knew, but because it is the way the question is worded, you can guess. So there.
Name with a chance.
Yes. And
so
yeah.
What you're saying is there is a chance.
And Bear is correct. We are recording this in one session. I told people that I thought that this would not take any more than like 2.5 hours tops. Part 1 was over 2.5 hours, so that's on me.
Props to Core, because it's late for me. It's bordering on midnight for him.
Yeah.
This
is not quite the longest recording session I've been part of. I have had Legends casts, like tournament casts, run longer than this, but this is getting pretty close.
Yeah, big thanks to you guys, 2 Europeans joining me on my North American time schedule here. Let's jump into the questions. There's 5 questions left to get through here, starting with: what is the total gold cost to create a full gold collection? I will take answers for standard or classic, and you are allowed to look at your collection. If you want to like take out a calculator, you could calculate it. That would be kind of lame, but if you want to just like eyeball it, you are welcome to do so. So a standard is 100 gold, a limited is 200 gold, a special is 400 gold, and an elite is 800 gold.
800 gold.
Oh god.
So now we test it. If anyone's like just an absolute math whiz and is going to pull out some fast calculations, I will be putting a slight time limit on this one, just because it is something you theoretically could just do the math on. But again, we're looking for ballpark. We're looking for ballpark. You don't have to get the exact number.
I could do the maths on that. I'm not going to, because that's insane. I'm just trying to remember how many of each type roughly we have in the game right now. And one thing your collection could do would be a nice thing where it tells me that, but it doesn't have it. It's very annoying, because otherwise I'd just be doing the maths in my head.
Okay, I have the answer.
Okay.
Well, I have the answer for standard. I don't have the answer for classic. I know the answer for standard.
Impressive.
All right.
And I'll wait. I'll wait.
Yeah, Cor's in this to win it, dude.
Hey, I would love to know how he's managed to pull that off, because I'd have to go digging for a length of time, but I'm... Good grief.
Now, I will say, I have been a bit sneaky with this because I have seen this number before someplace.
Ah!
Ooh, okay.
That's just cheeky. Because, yeah, off the top of my head, every single standard card is 400. I'm gonna go with 140,000 gold. I have no idea.
So is that for standard or classic?
I'm thinking that's just for standard. Roughly in my head, but I'm at a glance and I cannot be bothered to start counting cards.
All right. So you said 100,000?
About 140.
All right. And Core, what's your number?
So for standard, for a full standard gold set is 535,200.
That is absolutely correct. It is 535,200 gold for a full standard set and 791,800 gold. So that is... I am very curious where you got that number from,
yeah,
Core,
you and me both.
Core pulls ahead 6-3.
Let's be fair.
And I will show you exactly where I got the number from. I got it from the man himself.
Oh, good grief.
I remembered him passing a message about this.
So yes,
well,
Core has just shared a screenshot that I'll probably put up in the video at this point if I remember in editing, where I just went into the cards chat and said, "Fun fact of the day: the cost of a full gold standard collection is 535,200 gold."
So, have you been working on this video for a while? Or...
So this is actually this is kind of exposing the core works of this video, which is. I really enjoy coming up with fun facts about cards. And I've been coming up with fun facts about cards. I have probably at this point at least a dozen different spreadsheets measuring different things in cards. Like, some is just like my own personal stuff, some is like tournaments, some is balance changes, there's like total cards. The thing that made this video is I just finished inputting every single one of the cards in cards into a spreadsheet with its like cost, unit stats, keywords, like passive trigger, stuff like that I can sort and create pivot tables from to extract data easier from the total collection. So yeah,
I applaud your madness.
This idea was just like, okay, I have all of this information. What do I do with it now?
Yes, torture Europeans.
Yeah, so which two idiot Europeans can I convince to do this? Well, on the plus side, short of a minor miracle, Core has pulled a win out of this competition, because I'm not convinced I can answer that one.
Yeah, this one is actually kind of crazy at how expensive. Now, this thing is very weird. So when we're talking about gold card creation, there was a long time in cards where you could only get gold cards from packs, or like draft rewards, and then later end of season rewards, and then even later than that, national XP rewards. But there was a while where people were like, hey, are you going to add gold crafting of any variety? Most online CCGs have some variant of fancier version of the card you can turn money into. And I was quite vocal about that because I had way too many resources in cards because I played the game a lot. And they finally introduced it after years of waiting, and they were like, okay, so are we going to have like diamonds into gold cards? Are we going to have wild cards into gold cards? And they were like, no. we're going to have the most valuable in-game resource, gold, into gold cards, which baffles me. And to this day, it continues to baffle me why there is one way to spend wildcards. And if you have all the standards, standard wildcards immediately become useless to you. If you have all the limited wildcards immediately become a completely useless resource for you. Whereas gold, you can always spend gold on something. You can always spend diamonds on something. Wildcards just do not have a use if you have a collection. So I always thought the most natural thing would be to have wildcard into gold card conversion. But they said went with gold, and well, this is how unobtainable it is to create a full gold collection, which I know was a big thing in Hearthstone once upon a time. I doubt it is now because of just how expensive that would be. But I know there was a point of time in Hearthstone where like having a full gold collection was something that like a few way too wealthy people or like certain content creators could do. But yeah, in cards it looks completely unobtainable because there's no way to you can't turn your credit card into gold cards. There's no conversion. No. I feel like 1939 is just missing out on a revenue stream from the whales. Like,
yeah, I mean, ironically, full declaration. Those of you who in any way follow KARDS social media will have seen. I was actually paid by 1939 to spec, design, and make some intro videos for them. 2 of which have seen the light of day. And one of those was on showing people how to craft wild cards and craft gold cards. And as part of that, I had to obviously record myself crafting gold cards and crafting a gold deck. And when I was asked by the member of the team at the time who was organising this with me to do this, I was like, yep, sure. But you're gonna have to credit my account with some gold, because do you have any idea how much it actually costs for me to craft an entire gold deck? Just one deck. I have, by the way, like 3 gold decks now, one of which was paid for by 1939, one of which is sort of accidental because it shares a lot of cards with the other, and the other of which is a deck that I happen to quite enjoy. But I don't get it. I do not get why, A, you can't trade wild cards to gold at a ludicrously inflated price. It could be something totally ridiculous, like you need 5 elites to get 1 elite gold card, and people would still do it, he said, looking at the 235 wild cards I have that I will never use for anything else ever. Barring if I stop being, I suppose, in IT, because I suppose I could, in theory, that might be relevant for me to collect the new expansion. And I'm a little bit luxuriating in the fact that usually we get the pre-order for being in IT. But the point is that it's just sat there. Or even better, put a permanent marketplace thing of pay diamonds for a pack of gold-only cards.
Yeah.
Because people will buy it.
Yeah.
By the way, though, because I happen to know it was a side project a while ago, how close did you manage to get with your ludicrous resources, Jakey?
So I have never turned a card. I've never crafted a gold card with the gold into gold cards creation, because on principle I think that system is bad and I don't want to interact with it until they introduce wildcard to gold card crafting. So I've never crafted a gold card, and I use my gold fairly liberally. Basically just like any time I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like opening some packs, I'll just like buy like 20 officer packs. So I know there's people who have way more gold on their accounts than I do. I think I have 20,000 gold at the moment, which, as you can see from the numbers on screen, nowhere near getting a gold card collection. But because I've probably opened more packs than anyone else, I'm going to guess, the largest gold collection out of any account in the game, unless like obviously like devs just give themselves all the gold cards or something. I'm assuming, and I could be entirely wrong. There could be some like draft goblin who's played 12 hours of draft a day since 2019 that no one has ever like heard of. But I currently have 59% of all gold cards and 60% of standard gold cards.
Nice.
Across like all quantities. But yeah.
Oh, no, you're not wrong. It is, you know, look, I do the job I get paid for, and it's information people need to know about crafting, but really it is not a good use of your gold. It's not.
Because like especially because they shortly after this they introduced tournaments, and it's like you're introducing a new game mode which you literally can't interact with without gold. Like, why would you ever turn gold into gold cards? You are limited not only like just the most efficient way to get other things, like opening with packs is much more efficient than crafting things with wild cards, unless you just have like infinite wild cards. But also it's like you're limited your future ability to interact with certain game modes by spending your gold. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the way Hearthstone does it is so much better with the dust. And you can like buy gold packs in the shop for money regularly. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a better system. And it's not just like, oh, I want a full gold collection. Obviously that's part of it. I'm biased. But it is just genuinely like, how much revenue are they just leaving on the table by not allowing sharks to get more gold cards with their credit card?
Yeah, it's not like the packs don't already exist. I mean, I'm looking at the shop now, and the midweek special currently in the shop includes gold core packs. They exist. Like the programming, the method is there already. You just need to put a little thing in your shop that just lets people permanently pay some silly amount of diamonds for gold cards, and those of us who jack around on random tournaments, despite the fact that we have a full collection, will spend our diamonds on something. In my case, it's card backs at the minute, but the resource is there. You can get it. You can get real money for it.
Yeah.
Whereas gold has no actual financial value to you as a company, because I can't buy gold.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, why would you create? Because that's the thing that baffles me, is gold cards exist. There is a gold version of every single card in the game. And they were like, if you went across all of the accounts, every card in the game has a gold version. Many gold versions out there already. They all exist. So that is all cosmetics that already exist in the game, and you have to spend zero effort designing them. So why is there not a way to spend money to get those cosmetics? Whereas they're like, you know, I'm not like, I'm happy with them designing card backs or designing board props, but it's like, these are things that take a ton of time by employees who you pay. And the revenue return on that investment is probably not that high, whereas you have already a universal cosmetic in the game that most people like, that takes zero manpower to like just monetize in a way, if you want to. And
especially considering that, as I say, we already have packs programmed into the game that you have been able to pick up and buy through the shops that already contain only gold cards. You just need to implement it in a different way. But hey, we could go on for ages. But no, I 100% agree. I think I honestly, like, there has got to be a better way than asking me to pay over $750,000 gold for a collection.
That's honestly, I've probably lifetime on my account spent close to 500,000 gold on officer packs, just like since 2020, late 2020, I think, when they introduced officer packs. So like, I've just never spent gold on anything ever. I might be able to craft a full gold standard collection right now, but like, obviously that's like 5 years of hindsight.
Yeah, but also, why would you not have enjoyed, like, as you say, specifically tournaments at the minute? One of the ways I'm most often, because I've only got like $5,000 in gold on my account at the minute, which is very unusual for me. That's because I keep entering Sodding Iron tournaments because it's fun.
This is me and Bear talking about lack of gold collections and our like only 4 or 5
I do
digits
feel like
of gold on the
yeah,
account. When I feel like
do-
most of my audience and core.
Yeah, I do
I
feel
have
like
50
I do feel like we do sort of owe a genuine like a statement of understanding and apology to the rest of you who are listening to the two rich wide boys over here talking about the frustration of not being able
This is
to
the equivalent of like
resources.
a podcast of two like millionaires complaining about having to pay taxes. So let's move on to the next question.
Quite literally 15 gold in my account right now.
Oh dear. Yeah, sure.
All
Moving
right.
on.
Question 2. What expansions have the lowest and highest average card cost? So the average credit cost of all cards in the expansion
God, yeah.
across all of the nations for that expansion. Which one has the highest and which one has the lowest?
Right, so what I'm looking at is, again, I assume we're just counting the major expansions, or are we counting the I'm assuming we can't count the uniques, but...
is, let me check my notes here to be sure. So this is counting every, expansion that was released as a bundle, with the exception of World at War, which is the 5 7-card bundles. So in this case, Air Supremacy is considered its own expansion. United Front is considered its own expansion. They are not. It's each titled set of cards that was released at the same time.
Titled card set, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So, yeah, that excludes base set.
By the way, because I am that maths nerd, are we talking about the average as in taking each card as a single instance of itself, or the average as in the average including multiples of cards?
Each card as one. So just, yeah.
Like a sane human being.
That would be a very
Good,
interesting... that's a good idea for episode 2 of this series.
No.
I mean, hypothetically, it should work out to be about the same, but still.
I would be very curious to see if there's any, like, outliers if you changed between those two methods.
There shouldn't be, if my maths brain is still working, but if my brain is still working, it's questionable.
Oh wow, okay. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, this is... Okay, well,
I mean, are we having fun yet?
I think I might have found... Okay. The question is, what's the highest one?
I'm curious as to whether we come to the same conclusion.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, this question started just from the thought experiment of, I wonder how the average card cost has changed over the years.
You need to stop wondering. Oh, this is even... Oh, God. Oh, my God. Why?
Why would you do this to another human being?
No, I'm just finding more sets that are, like, even...
Alright, I think I have my answers, so I'm gonna let Cole go for his, because I'm using a tried and tested eyeballing method, which is...
That's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna go with the lowest average cost is Allegiance.
Alright.
It was a toss-up between that and one other set. I think Allegiance looks to have more. For the highest, I haven't a notion. Hold on.
So, meanwhile, I think, and I'm possibly going to be proven wrong, but I think Covert Operations might actually have the lowest average card cost.
Alright. I'm also very petrified that I somehow got one of these stats wrong, because when it comes to gathering card stats, it is not easy. So I'm very worried that I made like a colossal mistake on one of these questions, and I'm just gonna get roasted.
I'm fairly sure that we can all forgive you, given that we all know how hard it is actually to mine the data in the in-game database, especially considering that the website doesn't get updated as quickly as I'd like it to be either. Stat counters anytime you like, please.
I'm gonna say highest average cost is Brother in Arms.
All right.
Okay, on that one, we agree. I also think Brothers in Arms has the highest average cost.
The moral of this, or the key takeaway of this episode 1 is that Brothers in Arms sucked, if that's true.
I mean, to be fair, I think we already established that is largely true, regardless of how it fares here.
Core, you said the lowest is Legions, the highest is Brothers in Arms. Bear, you said the lowest is Covert Operations, the highest is Brothers in Arms.
I just want to make sure Allegiance, not Legions, Allegiance.
Oh, Allegiance. Okay.
Yes. It was a toss up between Allegiance and Breakthrough, I think, but I'm going with Allegiance.
All right. Just be happy that I did this question based on their current cost and not like cost on release. That's all I'll say, because that would be very different.
Plane flights.
Okay, so let's look at the answer. I have the top 3 from each, just because it's interesting. So this is on the left here is the cheapest. So the average cost of a United Front card is 2.75 credits.
Okay.
Followed by Naval Warfare at 3.02 credits, and then Covert Operations coming in third at 3.06 credits. And then on the high end, we have Breakthrough Catalyst at 3.92, Brothers in Arms at 3.89, and a Breakthrough proper at 3.6. And everything else is, well, obviously in the middle. So you both said Brothers in Arms, which is the second most expensive one by just a hair there. So I'll give both of you 2 points for guessing the second answer on that. Well, actually, I'll give you 1 point, since that is half the question each. And then on the other side, you said Covert Operations and Allegiance. I will give Bear another point for Covert Operations. It's in the top 3. Allegiance is not in the top 3. So, yeah, that's... What I found is that actually it's a very tight spread.
Yeah, I was going to say...
United Front's a bit of an outlier because it's just really small.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, we're really into the fractions. I mean, United Front's only an outlier by, like, a relatively small point. So it does mean that they are keeping the pool at a relatively consistent core cost.
This makes me think that this is actually like a metric when they're designing the expansion, that this has to be a metric that they look at for this to be
I'm assuming that on the matrices, which I endlessly tell people exists because I've never met a card game developer where it doesn't, there is a digital matrices somewhere, or a physical one if they're really old school, that gives them certain pieces of information. This is going to be on it, and they are going to use it as a design tool for a plotting out. In effect, you take an extrapolation from previous data to try and keep things. Anyway, I could get very nerdy, but every card game designer I've ever met on any scale does this because they want to make sure that they don't weight too much in either direction.
So I did look through and I found Allegiance. It is at 3.19. So it is on the lower end of expansions. So close there. But what did I say? I said 2 for Bear and 1 for Core, if I remember correctly. So that brings us to Bear. You're within 2. If my math is correct here, it is now 7-5 for Core.
Yep.
In this very much not arbitrary points system.
Also, it's 7-5 for Core, and I will never let him live down the fact that a chunk of those points are from the fact that he remembered to Google or Discord a quote that our quizmaster leaked the answer for.
That is entirely legal. I said no calculators, and no calculators were involved. But yeah, so honestly, I guess it's just like over because this isn't the most. This is just across all the cards in the expansion, and even like the most high power level expansions have a lot of duds in them. So I'd be very curious if like someone were to go through and to rank each card as like playable, like strong playable, not relevant, and then to look at this as like what is the average cost of like the playable cards or the strong cards. But obviously that would take a lot more time. So we just have total cards. And yeah, it's not that surprising to me that United Front, which was much more intentional than I think other mini sets have been in trying to buff specifically the minor nations. So it's not that surprising to me that they were like, okay, the cheaper cards are typically better, just as a general rule. And
also, I will say, United Front is a very small set.
Yeah.
That contained a very specific zero-cost card, and that will have an impact as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at what was added, like it was Dragons, Samua, Danuta, the 4 TP for Poland, like a bunch of like 1 and 2 drops.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to question 3 for this section, which is what is the most removed and the most added keyword? So they're two. They are not necessarily the same. They are not necessarily different, but this is two different answers. So the answer could be the same thing, but you are asking what is the most removed keyword and what is the most added keyword, and those combined will be your answer to this question.
Are we talking about words that have been scrubbed from the card, or words that have been rotated out?
So we are exclusively talking about cards that have been fully removed from the card.
Okay.
Across classic and standard here. And this is, and by keyword here, I specifically mean anything that is bolded in text.
I'm assuming we're talking about blitz, deployment, covert, so on and so forth. Like the words that would be bolded on the the card. As part of the
so when you say added, is this keywords that have been added after the fact?
Yes. So this is a card which, basically anytime that there is a change to the way a card is written, anytime a keyword becomes on a card that did not previously have that keyword, it is added. Anytime a keyword is removed from a card that did not previously, or that previously did have it. And this is instances of the keyword, I will also say. So if you theoretically have a keyword added to a card twice on the same card, it will count as 2.
Oh,
okay.
Twice?
That's very unfair.
We are talking about instances of the keyword appearing in the text of the card in bold. And it has to be in bold. So like Blitz showing up in Blitzkrieg doesn't count as like a Blitz card or something stupid like that.
Yes, but that is very, very. I will say that's quite harsh on core. But okay, you gotta get used to certain cards that do have a tendency to repeat the keyword, and whether they've ever been changed.
Yeah.
The classic example of this is the Panzer IIIF. Which has blitz on it twice, technically.
Yeah. I'm going to give my first answer for the most added keyword.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this because this is generally how 1939 like buff cards that they just
Sorry, you cut out there. They what?
A blitz. They just 1939 if they buff a card, they just stick blitz on it. So I'm just going to say blitz for the most added.
Okay.
Which I think was like fair. I'm gonna guess like most removed is maybe like smokescreen.
All right. Removing smokescreen and blitz.
Yeah. So I think smokescreen is the most removed. I think it's very close between. No, it's got to be because of the length of time. Is it? The length of time that it's been in the game versus the recent habits, because there has been I think, because I have to take a risk to have any hope of winning here, I'm actually going to go with deployment as the most added keyword.
Okay, so you're saying
We're counting.
deployment smokescreen,
But, yeah.
and okay, Corey, you said blitz smokescreen.
Yes.
All right. So, in quite overwhelming fashion, the most added keyword to the game is blitz at 20. Followed by deployment in second.
Yeah, I was kidding.
But also trailing fairly far behind blitz. Corey's absolutely correct. 1939 just loves to slap blitz onto anything that's
blitz on
underperforming.
things, yeah.
Honestly, like I think if we give it like 2 or 3 years, Shock might start to give blitz a run for its money.
Yes, it will catch up. Yeah.
And then, oh, go ahead, Corey.
No, I was just looking at the removed. I was also thinking Fury, but I couldn't think of any recently that had it removed.
Yeah, the most removed keywords, Fury and Smokescreen. And yeah, this is, I think most, like, I'm curious to know what was going through your mind when thinking about most removed. Because you could think of it as most removed as in like, oh, what keywords are too strong and have been removed from cards. But it's also like, what keywords suck and were removed and replaced with better ones. And a very prominent one was Fury. This was removed from a lot of cards that would like gain conditional Fury, and they were just like absolutely abysmal because they were so scared of Fury, they like overcosted the hell out of the cards. Or there was a lot of cards that would do things. Like, there was a lot of orders that would give Fury to cards, like, to a specific subtype of card. Like, there was a card that was, like, give a mobilized unit Fury.
Yeah.
It's a French card. Like, no one is playing that in Mobilize.
No.
And then also there was a lot of cards that, like, would remove Fury from an enemy unit, but, like, no one is playing Fury units in their deck for you to be removing from it, so they, like, they switched those things around. Yeah, the most removed was a much more close competition. There was pin at 7 and deployment at 7, as well as high ones for remove.
Yeah.
And then for add-in, it's the next one is guard and retreat. Both have been added 6 times, and then everything else is really low numbers for add. Because
I'm actually genuine. Yeah, I was going out on a limb with deployment just because I wanted to see
taking
if I
swings.
could sneak a sneaky wing. But like Blitz was a relatively safe bet and a sensible one because yes, slap Blitz on it is a thing. Although rapidly, in my opinion, as you say, going to be caught up by slap shock on it. No, I mean, what going through my head, I'm not gonna lie, I am nerdy enough that I was fairly confident that there had been at least 6 cards that had had Smokescreen removed, and that there are 8 doesn't surprise me. But I could only remember 4 until you just uttered the sentence about the sodding ridiculous MOBA, and then suddenly the count started going up in my head because I'd forgotten the poor benighted cards that got not only Fury but conditional Fury, which is even worse than Fury, which is not that great itself unless you're playing an OTK deck.
There are also a few cards. There's a few keywords that don't. They show up on a card, but they don't show up as bolded in certain contexts. So the one that I'm thinking of is the KV2 says heavy armor on it, and heavy armor is bolded, but it says your heavy armor like now applies to orders. I don't remember the exact wording on it, but the heavy armor that shows up in its like passive ability is not bolded. So that one did not count as an additional heavy armor. Just as an example, but yeah, there's a few weird things in what gets bolded and what doesn't get bolded in this game.
But yeah, I have to say, I'm not surprised that I lost out on the Blitz one, because, yeah, I mean, it's Blitz.
Yeah, there's the one that gets bolded, that is a keyword that gets bolded, that is probably like the weirdest one now, thinking back on it, is retreat, is a bolded keyword.
Yes,
but, like,
it is.
Most cards these days just say return to hand.
Yeah.
Just to make it more powerful. Like, there's very few retreat cards. A lot of retreat cards have been buffed to return to hand or reworked.
Yep.
And yeah, it's most often self-retreat now rather than retreating enemy stuff that comes up.
That's because people have realized that retreat is too situational to be good most of the time, whereas straight bounce is better.
Yeah. It is very interesting that just like bouncing cards like return to hand is like a full phrase, whereas retreat is send back one line like it's a keyword. And I understand why.
I mean,
it is.
I mean, again though, it does sort of, it kind of confuses my developer brain, given how much that's becoming a thing, that we haven't found an appropriate word to turn into a keyword that just means return to hand.
Well, it's because they're tied. They're tied down with like World War terminology. So like they've already used retreat. Like in Legends, we had a keyword for it. It was called unsummon. It just it's the thing. But like, what do you?
Yeah, it's what would you
surrender?
It's also very weird with naming new keywords because odds are that there's been like an order with the same name. Like when they added suppression as a keyword, or they added suppress as a keyword, suppression was a card. So they had to rework suppression to now suppress, and then they added routed troops as like a spawnable token, and then they had to rework route to spawn a routed troop. And yeah, so they're kind of like slowly backing themselves into a hole here.
While I'm digging, I've got to say, honourable mention to the card that falls into this connection of conditional gubbins stacked on conditional gubbins in quite the most disappointing way that I'd forgotten even existed. Because I was just hunting for cards that have multiple keywords. And I was reminded of the existence of Breakout. God, that's a terrible card. Give a veteran unit Fury and Shock.
The 1K one, yeah.
How much condition would you like on your conditions, sir?
Yeah, there's some cards that are just silly.
If there was ever an argument for a card that needs a rework anyway, I digress painfully, but I just look at it and that's such a sad little card.
For points for this round, Corey, you're getting 2 points, because you got 1 correct and 1 in the second closest. And Bear, you will be getting 1 point for getting second closest on both of them. So the gap has widened back to 3, which still means that Bear is always one question away from tying it up.
One correct answer.
So let's see if Bear can do it with the second last question here. Because I'm pretty confident you're not getting it with the last one. So this is... I recommend pulling out all the stops on this one. What is the average stat... Oh, no, I got the order of these incorrect. But anyways, what is the average stat block for a 4-credit unit in 2019 sets and in 2024-2025 sets? So what I'm talking about here is if you sort by cards from 2019 sets, which is Allegiance and Base, and then you look at exclusively 4-cost units across all nations, what is the average defense and attack and operation cost compared to that same category from 2024 sets, which is Covert Operations, Blood and Iron, United Front, Naval Warfare, and Air Supremacy?
And you're specifically including operation cost, and therefore, if we're in it's units only and operation cost, yeah?
Yes. So your goal is to say which is higher in each of the 3 metrics, and also if you can give a rough estimate as to what that number is.
God. Why have you made me sit a math exam?
And again, this is cards as they currently exist, not cards in the stats that they were on release, which would be too evil.
Oh my god, this is...
I have to say, when I created the math questions, I did not think that you guys were going to be this dedicated to actually doing the math. I'm impressed.
Where is? Let's see. So, how many decimal places do you want it to?
To 2 decimal places is what my answers are. In.
Perfect. All right. Cool. That's it. Wait, this isn't even. Oh god, this is only 4 legions.
If anybody's watching this and doing it different ways, I want points for the fact that I'm doing this in my head like a dinosaur. You say you wanted each of the individual stats as well as the overall average, or just the overall average?
Each of the individual stats.
Okay.
And again, you don't need the exact number. It's the question of which of the 2 sets. We're comparing the 2 sets. So we're comparing the 2019 sets to the 2024-2025 sets. So which one on average has higher attack, which one on average has higher defense, which one on average has a higher operation cost for their forecast units.
I just went a whole level further down the line than I needed to.
I have the exact numbers as well. So if you get the exact numbers, you get extra points.
Okay, well,
but it's not necessary
because it's taking too long. So. Okay, so I'm gonna just eyeball it from here, I think, because so the average attack from legions is that. And this is roughly the same-ish. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's roughly. So average of like, let's say 3. It's like that, I guess. Yeah, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9,
I'm saving myself a lot of time by typing that.
11.
Otherwise, I'm going to forget it.
12, 13, 14, 15, 15. So it's going to be on average higher. So we'll say like 1.7. And then everything from oh my god.
I swear to God, if I just outpaced a calculator with my dinosaur and I win this, I'm going outside and doing donuts in the close where I live.
2020. How many sets were 2024?
So that's
from Blood,
3
from
major
Ops.
expansions. 3 major expansions, 2 minor expansions.
Have fun.
Why would you do this to me? Okay, well, at least these sets are smaller.
Yeah.
But there's also massive outliers in here.
Enjoy.
70th Brigade, what are you doing? These are on average a little bit lower. Like 70th is going to throw this off. And then you have like bloody naval warfare. Then it's like all 6 health and 7 health. This has to be a health on average. Like it has to. This is the worst thing yet.
Yes. But I think that's by design, which is why I'm
Yes.
really looking forward to the last question.
So I will say this was intended to be the last question. I think either I misordered the slides or we somehow skipped one in a bug. So there's one more question after this. This was intended to be the last one.
Okay.
This is intended
I'm
to be the
holding out
least
some hope.
attainable.
I'm holding out
see.
some hope for my salvation at this point, then.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw rough numbers at you. Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right.
So
Bear has his written out, so I'll give you the floor core.
So for 2019, I'm going to go for like the average attack is like roughly 3.4, average defense is 4, and average op cost is 1.7.
Sorry, this is 2019?
2019, yeah.
So you said 3.4 attack, 4 health, and op was what? 1.7?
1.7.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for 2024, 2025, average attack 3.6-ish, average health of 5, and average op cost of 1.3.
All right. So you're
This is all just
saying,
guesswork.
yeah. So you're saying that all metrics went up.
They got better. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and health went up and op cost went down.
yeah. All right. And Bear, you said yeah.
Yes, I've got 2019's average op cost at 1.3, average attack at about 4.3, average defense about 4.1. And then 2024 plus, which was much harder to work out. Average op cost is 1.3, although I'm fairly sure that's inaccurate. Average attack's 4.5, and average defense is 4.3. So I've also got attack and defense going up. I think op cost is by and large about the same.
All right.
I didn't know there was a lot more zero op in the modern sets.
Yes, it does tend to skew the maths,
Yeah.
but if you're using a calculator, you get to be a lot more efficient than I was trying to just run this.
Legions with the calculator.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys have Bear. You have the attack in 2019 being a bit higher than Core's answer here. Whereas your health is about the same, and then your current cards, you have the attack once again being a bit higher, and the health lower than Core's. But you guys both say the op cost is about 1.3. So let's look at the actual numbers here. So in 2019, the average unit was 3.7 attack, 4.4 defense, and 1.8 op cost. And now the average unit is 3.4 attack, 4.7 defense, and 1.3 op, with a trend of attack going down, health going up, op cost going down.
Interesting.
I'm just saying, my numbers are actually like pretty close.
Yeah, you are not far off.
I'm not complaining about my own numbers through my head. What I'm interested in the op cost dropping quite that much.
Yeah, the
zero op, I think.
It is the zero op that's skewing the numbers.
I think,
but yeah,
even less than the zero op. I think it's just you rarely see 2 op on a 4 or 5 costed unit now. Whereas in the early days, there was a lot of things where it's just like, oh, this is like a medium-sized tanks. All medium-sized tanks have 2 op. This is like a medium-sized plane. All medium-sized planes have 2 op. And even like some infantry had, like, even some lower cost infantry had 2 op. Whereas nowadays, it's just like almost everything is 1 op if it's cheap, at minimum. With obviously a few exceptions there. So yeah, neither of you guys got the trends correct. If I'm looking at this, but Core did get closer in overall number. Although Core was also using a calculator briefly.
Yeah. The average attack and op cost and legions.
you can feel the competition rising.
So, I will say honestly, you guys both did a pretty good job. Overall, you guys were pretty close on the health. Both of you had like the correct trends in the health. Bear, your attack values are a little bit higher than they've ended up working out, and your initial op cost in 2019 is a little bit lower than it ended up working out. So I will give Core, I don't know, like, let's say 2 points.
This is
So it is now 8 to 3 in this round, which I think means the total overall, if I'm coding things correctly, is 11 to 6. But there is one last question here. All right, so the mysterious missing question has been returned. So now our 2 competitors can take a look at this. The final question here is, which expansion is most rotated. And what I mean by this is which expansion has the highest percentage of cards in that expansion in removed from standard. And that is currently removed in standard, not like if things have been brought back, they are no longer rotated, even if they have been reworked or otherwise changed.
Yeah.
And we are counting. This is counting mini expansions as well. Once again, grouping it as cards that were released in the same time period under the same name. So, Air Supremacy, United Front are their own things. Obviously, not going to be relevant for this because they have not been rotated at all. And I do have the top answers for this one. So if you get close, there are bonus points up for grabs, even if you don't get the exact one.
That's not going to help. Because World at War is just everything.
Yeah, this is the primary issue I have with putting all of the new stuff into World at War, is it makes it really difficult to use the collection effectively.
Stat tracking is definitely an issue. Right, no more digging around. I have my answer, because I had an instinct, and then I had a quick glance in the client, and I'm pretty sure I am, in fact, probably right.
Okay, well, what I'm learning is there's like a shocking amount of allegiance cards still in the game.
Yeah, I was also similarly shocked by the amount of allegiance which has not been rotated.
There is a ton of allegiance still in the game, Jesus. Okay, well, it's not that then.
They removed everything good from Allegiance, though.
I'm probably going to be wrong, because percentage-wise, I don't think it's good enough, but it's like... Is this, or I think it's this? Probably, right? I'm not even going to bother doing the mini sets because I can't find card lists for specifically the mini sets, so I can't even look. So I'm just gonna wing it with the main sets.
Seems legit to me.
Is Winter War? Yeah, I'm just gonna say Theater of War.
All right. So you're locking in Theaters of War.
Yeah, Brothers in Arms is a close second, I think, but I'm going to lock in Theaters.
All right, and Bear?
We're going off percentage of the whole set, right?
Yes.
Rather than percentage of individual cards.
Yes.
I actually think it's Allegiance because of the sheer number of standard and limited cards that were rotated out of Allegiance, but I'm probably wrong.
Sorry, like we are going off of like instances of the card in the collection, like single, like unique cards. We're going off total number of unique cards.
Oh, if we're going off single unique cards, let's shift to Brothers in Arms. Because I was looking at the wrong statistic.
Sorry, that was on me.
I was for once being more detailed than I should be, and I went straight to Allegiance because I know a huge number of standards and limiteds that were very good were pulled from Allegiance.
All right, so the final answer to the final question here is, in fact, World at War is the most rotated set in cards.
Okay, well.
At 66%, followed by Catalyst at 58, Brothers in Arms 56, Breakthrough 56, Legions 54. Theaters of War ends up at 50% rotated. I think Allegiance is like 45, just going off the top of my head. Base is somewhere around like 30 something. Yeah, the World at War cards have kind of overwhelmingly been rotated. And I don't think that is that shocking, personally. Because the time period where they came out was a massive drought in total number of new cards, so the power level of World at War cards was stupidly high, with the few exceptions of some awful, awful cards. And when they introduced rotation, I think they quickly used it as just a way to remove a lot of the cards that the power outlier cards that they introduced in World at War, where they were going for a higher, better like a higher average power level per card in those sets. So they've just been largely removed. Also, I don't know why, but in World at War they just went for really degenerate, unfun strategies. Like that's where we got the credit denial. We got SSCD.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, scrolling down this, I couldn't filter fast enough in my head between the expansion stuff to get to World at War.
The issue is, and this is, you guys face this, anybody watching this video who tries to do this, if you go into the collection and sort by World at War, you will see all of the United Front and all of the Air Supremacy cards, which have been added to the collection for organization reasons, I guess.
If you meander your way to reserved, it will quickly become apparent as to where the issue is. Because, let's see, what do we got third? Yokosuka was insanely good. Observer Corps enabled a number of completely degenerate strategies, which, while not consistent, were deeply unfun. Bryansk Irregulars should require no introduction whatsoever. Firewall almost broke the game briefly. What else have we got? What else have we got in here? The 989 Infantry Regiment, Audacity.
Yeah.
Supply shortage. The Zastora, Southern Plan, 39th Rifle Regiment. No, don't bring it back. Yeah, it's Monsoon Rot. Yeah, there's the cards in here are like a hit list of cards that were like, okay.
Yeah, and then after that, they're like pretty evenly rotated across sort of the expansion that has come since then. Brothers in Arms being second here, or being third, first among the major nations, is actually crazy, considering that it was introduced at the same time as rotation, with a 1.5-year time limit on before they could start getting rotated. So in the, like, I mean, that would have worked out to be start of 2025, I think, is when Brothers in Arms cards became available. So I think we've only had, like, 2 full rotations since Brothers in Arms, and they have caught up fast, which once again supports my hypothesis that Brothers in Arms is the forgotten expansion.
Yeah. Just being quietly sucked away into a void to never be thought of again.
But yeah, this also suggests that this is probably like a metric that they're looking at as well, with just Legions and Breakthrough being so close together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that probably has to. This probably like influences why we don't see like certain cards rotated, because they probably want to maintain this percentage base. Maybe it's not though, because honestly, what expansion a card came from doesn't really matter as soon as they stop selling the expansion specific packs. It
shouldn't be a metric that it's not a metric that I'd expect them to use internally. This is more than likely just a statistical aberration, or just literally the way the dice fall, because you wouldn't normally worry about it, because nothing's sunsetting out and back in again, so there's no reason to concern yourself with what's live and not percentage wise. But it is more a case of when you look at things like World at War, you just look at it and go, that stuff got torn out and thrown in the bin as quickly as is humanly possible, because it was degenerate and terrible and should never come back into the game.
Yeah, I'm very curious to look at this type of stat in like a year from now, 2 years from now, because like Winter Warfare has just become available to rotate. I think Covert Operations is
about to next expansion.
Coming up.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm very curious how quickly those cards will be removed, because there are just some absolute
Cross fingers for Blitz Doctrine.
I cannot have Blitz Doctrine removed from this game fast enough.
I'm so tired of Blitz Doctrine.
Yeah, this is.
It's just too much. It's too much value in a nation that doesn't need it.
It also just makes every game kind of feel the same, because it's just like, oh, what's the number one way to stick value generation into a deck that can come in from the ally nation as well. And it's like, oh, just 2 doctrines. And then you don't even need to run like more than like 2 or 4 tanks in your deck proper. It's just like, oh, I'm going to develop. Like, it's effectively card draw.
Yeah, it's also the selection is. There are so many good hits that if you play both your Blitz doctrines in a game, out of the 4 tanks that you see, at least one of them is going to be in the top 3 or 4 tanks that you want to see. And a couple of those are game-breakingly game-winning, especially currently. Like, Mouse has become its own win condition at this point, which is frankly ridiculous.
Say what you will about Panther D off Contest Doctrine, Mouse is so much it's so much worse. I am so tired of losing to randomly generated mouses. It's absurd. Also, just saying, KFZ Pack also insane. Off this doctrine.
Oh yeah. KFZ Pack coming off Blitz Doctrine is utterly insane because it shouldn't count as buffing itself because it's not. But anyway, I've got a whole argument about why that interaction should not work, because that's just broken beyond belief. Or you just remove the pack from the Blitz Doctrine pool.
The number of games I have won or lost in a control mirror from being just virtually empty-handed, like surely there's no way you can come back, and then it's just Blitz Doctrine, Contest Doctrine into the pack and the Panzer E, and then you just like swing face for I think it's 11, and it's like,
it's 11.
I didn't play around 11 damage from hand from a single card in a nation that doesn't have Bismarck because it's like Brit German or something. It's like
Well, the biggest one is usually if you come up with, like, the one I've been hit the most often by, again, unsurprisingly, and it goes back to my endless rant about it, is that US is usually in there somewhere, because the thing that's enabling it to be as really busted as it currently is that you're able to combine hyper-efficient ramp with high value that you can then deploy far too quickly, because the only balancing factor to Blitz Doctrine as a card, in defense of Blitz Doctrine, if you can't find a way to have enough credits, it's much less powerful because you're delayed in being able to deploy it onto the board, but that stopped being an issue, because by far the most popular combination in the minute is some combination of Germany and US focusing on ramp, at which point, in a meta where all of the other decks are encouraged by the card pool to go wide, Mouse goes immensely high in value. Not to mention the fact that you can populate a bunch of cheap units to blow up with it.
I mean, this is like my fundamental like issue with Develop as a mechanic, and the same thing with Hearthstone with Discover, is when you build a deck, you have to make a decision on the cards you put into your deck. So if you want your deck to be good into aggressive decks, you need to put in low-cost cards that can deal with lots of small little guys, and that will by necessity make your deck worse into decks that run a smaller number of really big guys. And if you want your deck to be good into a very slow control deck, you can throw in a lot of removal for big target removal, or you can throw in a lot of your own big threats to just try to out-threat them. But that is going to make your deck worse against aggro decks. I hate a card that is just like against an aggro deck. You can play like Blitz Doctrine on your turn 2, and then you like pick the cheapest, smallest thing with Blitz to trade off into something in the front line on the following turn. And then you probably don't get to Contest Doctrine, and if you do, you just try to pick the thing that you can get on board the fastest to try to create a threat to close out the game. Or if you play the exact same card in your deck at no additional deck cost, and you see you're against a control deck, you just pick the biggest thing that shows up both times.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's just insane.
The most frustrating thing for me with Doctrine is in control mirrors, it's just a matter of who drew their doctrines first, which is so annoying.
I mean, what I like about how the control decks how they have moved in just building now is that we run a lot fewer tanks than before.
Yeah.
So, like, Blitz Doctrine is now like, oh, it's going to be like 1 to 2 cards of value, and then a small amount of value over the course of the game. Whereas before, it's like, if each deck ran like 20 tanks and 2 Blitz Doctrines, it's like, oh, I got my 2 Doctrines off. Every single unit in my deck is like +2/+2. You literally can't come back from that. Whereas now there's just so few tanks in the deck. It's like, oh, they played Blitz Doctrine, but I don't know, I had like a capitulation to remove the bows off the board, and like now I'm not that far behind anymore. But yeah, it's, I don't know, if you take one thing from this 3 video series, it is remove Blitz Doctrine.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely a good start.
So I'll not keep you guys too much longer. I know it's now past 1 in the morning in Germany, right? I want to say.
No.
It's in Norway, I
Norway.
believe.
Okay.
Yes, Norway. Yeah.
I have a vague recollection of it coming up. Anyways, that brings us to the end of the quiz, and the final score, which might be different in my tabulations going back into this in the editing phase, but I'm confident it will not change the outcome. I believe that is Core Data has won the inaugural first ever episode of KARDS Deep Cuts with a score of 11-8. Tentatively, that might change. As you were seeing it in the edit. But, Core, you have won. Bear got close. Nice try. Better luck next time, perhaps. But you were still here, and both of you have contributed to what has probably turned into, 6 hours of excellent conversation. I know I have had a blast. I hope you guys have enjoyed your time here, and I hope anybody who has gotten to this far into part 3 has also enjoyed this series. Let me know if you have. And I will now throw the floor first to our winner, Core. Where can people find you once again?
So people can find me over on YouTube at Cordata. Like I said before, I do deck techs and commentary, usually once a week on Saturdays, and occasionally I stream over on Twitch when I have a spare minute.
All right, and our close runner-up, Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me also at YouTube, links down in the thing. You can catch me on my own Discord, where you can also catch Core and J King, as well as on J King's Discord. Actually, just find me on various forms of Discord. And obviously, I Twitch fairly regularly. If you want to know what I'm, particularly at the moment, if you want to know when I'm streaming, please give me a follow. It's not just a plug. It is just your best way at the minute, because life is chaos at the moment. So I'm intermittent, but it's usually Tuesdays and Saturday evenings UK time. I will do some streaming, and hopefully there'll be some more content coming. And I want to say a huge thank you to our host for putting the effort in to put all of this ludicrously overcomplicated information together into a set of truly, truly ridiculous questions that, frankly, the fact that we have managed a combined score of somewhere in the region of 18 or 19 points, we think probably, but someone else can tabulate them later, is a minor miracle.
Yeah, to be fair, this has been the most entertaining 6-hour hostage situation I've been part of. So.
Yeah, I've absolutely loved, like you said. Like, honestly, I wouldn't lie. I've loved every minute of this. This is chilling out with friends, talking about a game that I'm passionate about and a subject that I'm passionate about. So call it a win.
All right. Well, guys, go check out Core and Bear if you haven't already. Thank you very much for getting to the end of this video and getting to the end of this first episode of KARDS Deep Cuts. This is something that I would like to turn into a series, but it is also a series that is able to change. So if you have any feedback, please give it in the comments or the Discord or DMs or anywhere else. This is a format of just testing out certain things, what questions work, what questions don't work, maybe less math questions in the next episode, we'll see. So yeah, this is all up to change, as well as guests. You know, should I bring in different guests in the next one? Should I bring back Bear and Core for a rematch? Everything and all of that down below. Feedback, questions, like possible questions for the next one, questions you have, flaming me if I got anything wrong, all of that fun stuff, and I will catch all of y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.